Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube fam? This is Sam Legger representing Team JBS. I'm back again for another movie review. The name of this movie is called The Honest Thief. This is Liam Neeson. He's starring in this. It's kind of an action pseudo, like, reminiscent of what Liam Neeson kind of does lately in the past 5 to 6 years with a lot of his action movies. But it's very different too, because it does have a very interesting, diverse cast. Got Liam Neeson, Kate Walsh from Grey's Anatomy, Courtney, Jeffrey Donovan, Anthony Ramos from Hamilton, as well as Robert Patrick himself. And the interesting thing about the premise behind this one is that Liam Neeson's character plays a thief that basically nobody's been able to catch, nobody's been able to even, get any kind of recognition of who he actually even is, and he just, comes across love, and he decides he wants to kind of give all this up, and he wants to turn himself in by any means necessary. And he starts that process, but everything, of course, as it normally would, goes completely wrong. Now, when everything does go wrong, that also affects, the person that he loves. It affects, like, where he is trying to position himself by turning himself in. Now everything is forfeit, and he has to track down not only all the money that he has basically broken into safes and gotten, but he also has to try to clear his name on top of turning himself in, which makes it more of a complicated situation. So from a premise standpoint, it seems really, I guess, engaging, if not entertaining. I think this movie would be okay, like date night popcorn flick, specifically for couples. This is a PG-13 film, so it's not rated R. So, but I think that this is also a kind of a pseudo kind of romantic comedy mixed with action. It's not necessarily supposed to be funny, but I think that with Kate Walsh's character, she makes it really sympathetically, organically funny. And I think they do play up the cuteness factor between her and Liam Neeson, which makes this a little strange at times. Tonally, there's a lot of tonal shifts in this. There are different moments, like with the character, Anthony Ramos' character, that kind of is more on the serious situation based on him with having a family. Jack Courtney is being more like the villain antagonistic role, but also like the situations that are happening are kind of like a Home Alone type of situation where things are happening to him. But then you've got, in the very opening, you've got Jeffrey Donovan and Robert Patrick, who intercept the call from, Liam Neeson's character, the honest thief. And it's weird because their conversation is just kind of like really naturally kind of funny. And I think the problem that I have with this film is that tonally it is all over the place. There's not any kind of clear direction. It is very cookie cutter at most. A lot of the times I was really intrigued about where things could go as far as action, but they are very fleeting. Most of the action moments, don't go anywhere, and the action moments that do happen end in deaths that I think were unnecessary. There's a specific death that I feel like was so, not distasteful, but it was just so unnecessary for no good reason, as opposed to doing a little bit more legwork on the background when it comes to the written side of things with this specific character. There's one specific death it was just, I don't know. It made no sense, and it was nonsensical, and I think that, in my personal opinion, it left offense, in my personal opinion. And then the other thing that was kind of happening in between was that the honest thief, he really considers himself an honest thief. Even though he's a Marine, he chooses not to do things taking a life. So think Equalizer mixed with not even trying to take a life, but being a demolitions expert, as well as being very proficient in hand-to-hand combat and knowing a situation really well, but still not willing to do anything, which makes a lot of the action moments fleeting because there's nothing really that's naturally happening. Now, you love to see Liam Neeson be Liam Neeson, but this is not a spectacle by any means. The soundtrack was, fleeting. There wasn't that much going on with it. Cinematography, I think that the action moments were okay, but a lot of times they were just jump edits, and it kind of, again, it's kind of fleeting for that. As far as the acting was not good in my personal opinion. None of the actors left any kind of lasting impression for me. I think that the only character that probably resonated with me a little bit was Jeffrey Donovan, Agent Myers. Only from the second act all the way to the back half. And it was weird because the way they introduced his character, it was like he was already acting like a joke. And so I couldn't take anything serious that was happening with him when stuff was going down the pipeline. Now, I will say that Anthony Ramos does have a really powerful sequence in the bed. It was pretty good, but outside of that, nobody was really even trying. In terms of the actual, again, I thought that the idea behind this, on paper looked okay, but the execution behind it, it just did not merit even a need for this film. This was kind of a downer of an action film for me personally, out of this whole entire year. Is it completely bad? I wouldn't necessarily say it is the worst, but it is not that good in terms of what they were, I think we were trying to actually do with it. I think it is something that, again, people will go, you can check out with your date and have it as background noise and just kind of watch and see Liam Neeson be Liam Neeson on the action level. But, the weird thing about this is that his character from a few years ago with Viola Davis, it's almost like the opposite of that character, which is weird. The Widows, like it's the same concept, but it's the complete opposite. Where this character in Widows was ruthless, like his acting was out there, like he wasn't this conventional thief. Like there was depth to him. There was no recognition for this. That was one of the things I hated. The Widows, they got no recognition whatsoever. And this is the complete opposite. Like, it's just, I don't even know. It is good to see Liam Neeson, still flexing. But I feel like this is, if there is a last Liam Neeson action film, this might be it. Because it felt like it was kind of like a send-off. There was a sequence that happened in the third act. I was kind of like, this is probably his last one. And based on this, unless they have like an actual need for him to be really truly utilized with his acting, with his character, and also with his physicality and what he's capable of, then that might be merited. But for this, not so much. I apologize. I give this a 5 out of 10. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this review. I'll talk to you guys later on. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Peace, guys.